Good evening, everyone. This is Big Dog Sports. I'm your boy BD, and in this video today, I would like to discuss the whole collective bargaining agreement for the WNBA. And so let's jump right into it. Let's first find out what exactly do the women want? What are they asking for in this collective bargaining agreement? Number one, they want increased salaries. Players are asking for a significant salary increase, especially considering the league's financial growth and the current disparity between the WNBA and the NBA. They want improved revenue sharing. WNBA players want a larger share of the league's revenue, reflecting the league's increasing financial success. A softer salary cap. The players are seeking a more flexible salary cap, allowing for greater player movement and negotiation flexibility. Better benefits. This includes improved maternity benefits, retirement plans, and standardized team environments with better travel and facilities. Family planning services. Players are also prioritizing access to comprehensive family planning services and a seat at the table for media rights. The WNPA is also asking for a say in future media right negotiations. So these are the tenants: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 things they're asking for. And this is just me, my personal opinion. I think the last 4, the softer salary cap, the better benefits, the family planning services, I think the owners will cave on that. That's just my personal opinion. I think the ladies could get that. Here's where we get into the problem, though. A seat at the table for media rights, improved revenue sharing, and increased salaries. That's an issue. And here's why it's an issue. The WNBA has been losing money profit-wise for 27 years. Last year, and let me be clear about this, only last year they lost $50 million. So I want to debunk all that they're losing $50 million a year. That's not true. They only lost $50 million last year, but they brought in $200 million worth of revenue, right? You bring in $200 million worth of revenue, but you still lose $50 million. That math don't math to me, but that's another issue. Let's get into the salary cap part. The salary cap for the WNBA right now, the maximum salary cap is $1.5 million per team. The minimum salary cap is $1.2 million per team. An individual, the cap for an individual is $250,000. That's the Supermax contract for the WNBA. It's $250,000. So you see, in the NBA, you got people making 300 million, 260 million for their super maxes, but the women are only making $250,000. So the gap between the WNBA and the NBA is very, very, very big, very big. And let's be honest, the negotiations for the ladies is going to be an uphill battle. It really is, because it's hard to ask for more money when the people you're working for aren't making any money, right? Like, you asking to get paid more, but you're not profiting anything. So you have an issue with that. That's an issue. Like, now, if the WNBA was turning a profit, If they ever had turned a profit at all, maybe you would have a little bit of leverage. But I think these ladies, they made a huge mistake by going into the CBA with no leverage at all. Like, all the owners are going to do is say, "Look, ladies, we've been subsidizing y'all for 27 years, and we still have not received a return on our investment, right? So why should we pay y'all more money when we, as the owners, are not making any money?" It's a conundrum. And I'm not sure how the ladies are going to handle that business. And I'm not making any money. I'm not going to be able to afford to give people raises if I'm not profiting. You know, let's be clear. The only reason why the WNBA has not went defunct completely out of business is because they have NBA at the end of their name, and the NBA don't want to hurt their brand by letting the WNBA go belly up. That's why they've been supporting it for so long. And here's another thing I wish the ladies would do. Ladies, you want to make more money? You need to change your faces. And here's what I mean by changing your faces. The old guard, the Breonna Stewarts, right? The Nafisa Colliers, the veterans who've been in the league for X amount of years, 7, 8, 9 years, right? These ladies are superstars on the court. Asia Wilson is easily the best female player in the world, right? Nafisa Collier is right there. Breonna Stewart has always been. Here's the catch. If I walk down the street and I stop just a stranger in the street and I tell them, "Hey, do you know who Nafisa Collier is?" That person's probably going to look at me very strange. And that's just being honest. I stop a stranger in the street and I tell them, "Hey, do you know who Breonna Stewart is?" Most average people aren't going to know who Breonna Stewart is, right? And that's a problem. The WNBA has a real marketing problem. They really do. They have all this great talent on the court, but they haven't been able to market this talent. Nobody has been able to move the needle until last year. And Angel Reese combined, this is combined, accounted for 33% of the entire league's revenue. Let me say that again. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese combined for 1/3 of the entire WNBA revenue. 1/3. That's crazy work. Crazy work. Now, in terms of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, are they superstars on the court? Yeah, of course they're superstars on the court. But the kicker is that they're superstars off the court. I could go in the street. I keep using this analogy. I could go walk the street and stop a random person and say, "Hey, do you know who Caitlin Clark is?" And that person, 9 people out of every 10 people are going to know who Caitlin Clark is. I give the same ratio to Angel Reese. Like, 9 out of every 10 strangers that you would stop on the street, if you ask them who's Angel Reese, they're probably going to know who Angel Reese is. They might not know what team she played for. They might not know all her stats per se, but they're going to know, okay, she's a basketball player, right? We can't say that about Alyssa Thomas. We can't say that about Sabrina Ionescu. We can't say that about Dewana Bonner or Aaliyah Boston, right? And that's the issue. I think these ladies, as much as I want them to get paid, and believe me, I want them to get paid. I want to see them get paid. I do. But we're using the wrong people to have these talks. Now, I understand Nika She plays for the Seattle Storm. Nika Obumake. She's the union leader for the WNBA, and I think she's the wrong leader for this moment. Um, I think, and I know this is a heavy lift because both these women, and I'm talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese now, both these women are only in their second year, right? But I think they're the ones who need to lead the charge when it comes to the CBA because let's face facts. When you have two women who account for 1/3 of your revenue, you're going to listen to that, right? I mean, that's just economics 101. How much revenue has Nika Abumake created, right? How much revenue has Brianna Stewart created? These ladies are great basketball players, but none of them have moved the needle. The needle hasn't moved in the WNBA in 25 years. The first time the needle moved was last year. And to further that point, let me take y'all. I got this article up, but article because this is get this list up for you. Okay, I'm gonna share this with you guys now. I just want y'all to take a look at something real quick. Look at the drastic, and when I say drastic, this is drastic. These are the all-star vote counts from 2023, 2024, and 2025. This is what the women are dealing with. 2023, A'ja Wilson garnered 95,000 votes. Mind you, this is A'ja Wilson talking about, the best player, female player in the world. 2 years later, Caitlin Clark will garner 1.293, 1,293,000,000 votes. That's over a 2-year period. It went from 95,000 to damn near 1.3 million in 2 years. So you're not going to sit here and tell me that there's no such thing as a Caitlin Clark effect. Anybody who believes that there's no such thing as a Caitlin Clark effect i.e., or Angel Reese effect, have lost their minds. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are the reason why the WNBA ladies in their union could even think about having this conversation right now. They're the main two reasons why the popularity of the league has jumped dramatically. And we want numbers. This difference, this is a 900+% increase in all-star votes. 900%. Let that sink in. 900% increase. It went from 95,000 to 1.3 million in 2 years. So please miss me with that. Caitlin, there's no such thing as a Caitlin Clark effect. There's no such thing as an Angel Reese effect. That's bullshit. So again, I would like to see the ladies get their money, but it's going to be an uphill climb because, again, they've never profited in 27 years. Now, they were not, I want to say this again, they were not losing $50 million a year every year. That was only last year that they lost $50 million. The year before that, it was 38. The year before that, it was 32. And the number keeps going down as further back the years you go. The number keeps going down, but it averages in the 27 year, it averages out to about $14 million a year. In that 27 million, that 27-year span, they're averaging $14 million in losses. If we take it from the 10 million they lost in 1998 to the 50 million that they lost last year, they're averaging $14 million in losses. So they really don't have much to bargain with at this point. Like, I want to see them get paid, but the owners are going to be like, look, ladies, y'all have never turned a profit. Why should we give you any kind of revenue sharing? Now, let's be honest. The revenue sharing split between the owners and the players in the WNBA is ridiculous. It's 9-91. So the players get 9% of the revenue and the owners get 91% of the revenue. Is that fair? Absolutely. Now in the NBA, the split is far more even. It's a 51-49 split between the owners and the players. But the difference in the NBA and the WNBA is that the NBA last year made $11 billion with the B, $11 billion. The WNBA brought in $200 million. Like 200 million compared to 11 billion is not even a real comparison like that. And the ladies are going to have an uphill climb. And I hate to sound like, a pessimist, because again, I want to see the ladies get paid, but the proof is in the pudding at the end of the day. Like, you have to make some money to ask for some money. You can't ask for money when you're not, when the people that you're working for aren't making any money. So basically, they're asking the owners to spend more money on them while they continue to lose money, spending it on them. So how do we square that circle, right? And I don't think they're going to square that circle. I think at the end of the day, as much as the ladies want to stand on business and as much as they're going to want to take a stand, right, they're going to get locked out. And when they get locked out, depending on how long that lockout will last, it's going to hurt a lot of these ladies. Is it going to hurt Asia Wilson and V. Kyer, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese? No, it's not going to hurt them. Though those ladies already have money and they're going to be fine, right? But the players we don't really talk about like that, the Alicia Grays, the Kelsey Mitchells, the Sophie Cunninghams, the Rachel Bannums of the world, those ladies are going to feel it. And you know what happens when those ladies start feeling it? They're going to be forced to travel overseas to play ball to supplement their income. And the world we live in now is really unstable politically. So traveling overseas to play ball, you're taking a risk, not just, you know, personally, but, just financially, you're taking a risk. We all seen what happened to Brittany Griner, right? She's been playing in Russia 6, 7 years. But as soon as the global climate became toxic, she went to Russia, right? And they just found anything to take her. And she pretty much became prisoner swap fodder, right? And I don't want to see that happen to any more ladies. I'm sick of watching the ladies go overseas. I think, in my personal opinion, I think that's why Maya Moore retired so early in her prime, because she got tired of going overseas because she wasn't making no money here, right? I don't want to see the ladies have to go overseas to play ball when they could play ball here, right? So, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? That's the $1 million question. Um, the ladies, I think the owners, this is just my personal opinion, I think the owners will give them the benefits, will give them the family planning services. And I think the owners are even giving on the softer salary cap, right? But the revenue and the salaries, that go hand in hand, right? Because you need the revenue to increase the salaries. But not every team is on the same level, right? Like the Aces, the Liberty, they did those two teams are gonna make money. They've been making money for a long time now, right? They average about 12 to 15 million dollars a year, right? But then you got teams like the Dream, teams like the Wings, right? That the Connecticut Sun, like those teams aren't making that kind of money like that, right? So you have more teams that are not making money than you have teams that are making money. And that math don't add up, unfortunately. It just doesn't. Like, you can't have two or three teams that are successful and then you got five other teams that are just barely hanging on, right? Like, it kind of defeats the purpose and it hurts the league overall, right? So let's get into a little history real quick. 1997, the WNBA was founded. And when the WNBA was founded, there was only one team, the New York Liberty, who were owned by an NBA owner. All the other teams were owned by owners that didn't have anything to do with the NBA. And a lot of these original teams didn't make it, right? The Cleveland team didn't make it. The Houston team didn't make it. The Detroit team didn't make it. A lot of these franchises, they either folded or they were forced to move to other cities because they couldn't cover the cost of running that franchise because the revenue wasn't there. So, in turn, I think the ladies have to make a decision. Nika has to make a decision. Is she going to be the face of the players, or do you let the two women who are bringing in 1/3 of your revenue be the face of these negotiations? I think the WNBA would be smart to have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in the room. Like, they need these ladies in the room because those are two ladies that the owners respect, because those are the two ladies who are generating 1/3 of the revenue for the entire league. So it doesn't make sense to not have them in the room. And I don't want to deal with all the woke stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's corny to me. I just want to stick to the basketball. But there's another thing that I really need the ladies to stop doing. Hold up, let me stop sharing the screen. So I could get on the big screen and say this because this is the elephant in the room. Ladies, I'm going to say this and I mean this respectfully. We do not, as fans, need to know who you're sleeping with. I think it's crazy work to have women in relationships playing on the same team. I think that's crazy work. That just, as a fan, I think that's crazy work. Like, could you imagine two NBA players in a relationship and the world knew about it? What kind of backlash that would create? Again, the W needs to know who its fan base is. The majority of the WNBA fan base are straight men. It's not women, they're straight men. And straight men don't want to see LGBTQ women running around with their relationships out all in the public. We don't care about that. We want to watch basketball. Keep your private lives private. Please. Like, we don't, like, there's no reason I should know that Alyssa Thomas and Dewana Bonner are in a relationship, right? There's no reason for me to know that. There's no reason for me to know that Melissa Smith and Dejanay Carrington are in a relationship. Why is that important? There's no reason why I need to know that Paige Beckers and Azzi Fudd are in a relationship. Why is that important? And I think the W do a horrible job keeping that under wraps. And I think that's a lot of the problem when it comes to marketing these women. It's hard to market a lesbian to a straight audience. I mean, that's just what it is. Brittany Griner in her prime is probably top 5, if not top 3, big in the entire WNBA history, right? Brittany Griner in her prime was a dominant big. Diana Taurasi, arguably the GOAT of the WNBA, right? If we're not talking about Cheryl Swoops or Maya Moore, right? Couldn't market them at all, period. Like, there was zero market for Brittany Griner, zero market for Diana Taurasi. Why was there no market for them? Because they wanted to wear their sexuality on their sleeves. And that's a turnoff for straight men when the majority of your audience is straight men. Thank God for Angel Reese. Thank God for Cameron Brink, right? For bringing the sexy back to women's basketball, for making it okay for the ladies to be ladies. We, as fans, needed that really, really bad. Like, the WNBA, I like the WNBA. I've been watching it for a very, very long time. But until they wrap their arms or their minds around the sexuality part of their players and at least learn how to keep it private, they're always going to have marketing issues, in my opinion. Because I don't care what nobody say, you cannot market a lesbian to a straight male audience. You just can't. There's don't nobody care. Don't nobody want to see that. We just want to watch the basketball. We don't care who you sleep with. So with that, I'm going to end this video. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Like the video, sub the channel, Big Dog Sports, share the video, leave a comment in the comment section. All donations are appreciated. The Cash App is on the ticker at the bottom of the screen. And I'll be back with another video very soon. They